Now, what we want to do is see if we can use the trick to figure out if a property is a physical property or a chemical property. And sometimes you won't even need the trick. For example, if the property were mass, you know from all our discussions on mass this year that mass is a physical property. It's on our physical properties list. If someone says flammability, you know that that's one of the ones we just discussed. But if they bring up a property you've never heard of, then you can use the trick. Ask yourself, do I have to change the matter in order to see that property in action or to measure it? If the answer to that question is yes, it's a chemical property. If the answer to that question is no, it's a physical property. And then anytime you see the word react, it's a chemical property. So here's what we want to do. Keep your notes out in that same section where your notes are, number 1 through 6. Press pause while you number and then restart the video when you're ready to go on. Now that you've numbered 1 through 6, I want to show you some sentences. Each sentence talks about a property of matter, and what you'll need to do is put P if it's physical, C if it's chemical. Use the trick. Use your notes. You can use your lists, anything you have in your scientist notebook for this first set. Oops, hold on. Now, here's the first one. First sentence. The mass of the book is 720 grams. Mass. Is that a physical property or chemical? If I want to measure the mass, do I have to change that matter to do that? No. Just put it on a balance, write the mass down, the matter is not changed. So number 1 should be P, physical. Look at number 2. Some metals rust. Is that physical or chemical? What'd you put? Yes, rust is chemical. In fact, that was on our chemical properties list in our discussion. We had rust as one of the examples. If a metal rusts, then once that's happened, that metal, part of it has been changed, is now part of the rust. And if you remove the rust, the metal might look the same, but it's been changed. Some of the matter is gone. It's in the rust. So number 2 is chemical. Look at number 3. Chlorine is a gas at room temperature. Gas, that's state. Is that a physical property or chemical property? Put P or C. What'd you put on this one? You should have put P, physical. For me to tell that chlorine is a gas, I don't have to change the chlorine to see that. I just observe its properties. Oh, it's spreading out to fill the container. It must be a gas. It doesn't have its own shape. And so I don't have to change the matter to do that. That's a physical property, the fact that it's a gas. Number 4, conductivity. Is that physical or chemical? Physical or chemical? If I want to find out if something's a conductor, do I have to change the matter to do that, to observe its conductivity? What'd you put? You should have put P, physical. Yes, if you want to find out if something's a conductor, just replace that object in the circuit with one of the, put it in the circuit in place of one of the wires and see if the circuit still works. That'll let you know if energy flows through it well enough to be a conductor. And if you do that, it doesn't really change the matter. It's still made out of the same thing. So conductivity is a physical property. Plus, it's on our physical properties list. Let's do number 5. Gasoline is highly flammable. Is that physical or chemical? What'd you put on this one? Yes, the fact that gasoline catches on fire is a chemical property. Once the gasoline catches on fire, it's been changed chemically. And remember, flammability was the first chemical property that we talked about. Here's our last one. Number 6, copper tarnishes easily. The fact that copper tarnishes, does it have to change the matter to see that the copper tarnishes? What did you put? If you put C, chemical, you're right. Tarnish was one of our chemical properties from our list, isn't it? And also, once copper tarnishes, even if you remove that tarnish, part of the copper is gone. It combined with the water and oxygen to make the to make the tarnish. So the matter is changed. Now, take your pencil, put a box around these practice ones. We're going to do some that we're going to take a score on. This time, number 1 through 7. Pause the video while you number, and then restart it when you're ready to go on. Now that you've numbered 1 through 7, you're going to put P or C just like you did before. P for physical, C for chemical. Beside that, put SBI 9.1. And then we're getting ready to begin. One of the things that I do want you to do, you can still use your notes, you can still use the trick or the list, but later on when we do the TCAP practice, you won't be able to use your notes, so use them and help your brain start thinking this way. So here's the questions. Oops. Turn this off. There we go. So 1 through 7. There are 2 on here that I think are kind of hard, and I just want to see how you do on them. So don't worry about if you miss it. If you get it right, it's going to bump your score up a little bit. So do 1 through 7, put P or C, and then when you're done, bring it to Miss Ewing.